During this quarter, you're going to prepare a number of graphs to include as part of your lab reports for grading. If you have used Excel before to do graphs, then you're welcome to use that program. If there's another program that you are familiar with that you can use to create a graph that you can insert into a Word document, you're welcome to use that as well. If you're not familiar with a particular program, then I'd like to show you this one. It's very straightforward, very easy to use, and it produces exactly what I'm looking for in terms of quality of graph to include. KidsZone, don't be thrown off by the title. It's a very nice program, and I just wanted to give you an example of a bar graph, which you'll be creating several of them this quarter. So what we would do is go ahead and just click on the bar as the type of graph we'll be using. I ask that you use only the default settings, so you don't need to change anything on this page. Please don't change anything on this page, because when the graphs look similar in terms of format, it makes it much easier for me in terms of grading. So you're going to leave the design elements in the default values. So let's go ahead to data. And remember, as far as the title for your graph, it needs to be a standalone title. In other words, I should be able to take your graph, hand it to someone who has no idea what was done, and on the basis of reading the title, they should understand the information that's being presented. So just an example, we could say effect of fertilizer brand on, and let's use tomatoes. Effect on tomato plant growth. My x-axis label is going to be the independent variable of interest. What's being manipulated in a very conscious manner here? It's the brand of fertilizer. So I'll have brand of fertilizer. And on the y-axis, what am I measuring? It's the tomato plant growth. And I'm going to go ahead and put the units that I'm measuring that growth in, and let's say the unit I was doing was centimeters. Okay, now in terms of the number of items, this would be the number of independent variables that you used. In other words, fertilizer brand is my independent variable. How many different brands of fertilizer did I use? So let's just say I did 3 brands. So I'm going to change that to 3. In terms of groups, we're only going to do 1 group. And so you don't need a group label since we only have 1. So I'm going to call this first brand of fertilizer, we could say, let's see, something like Grow Fast. We'll make up some titles. Oh, and then I had tried this before. I put in Miracle Grow. So let's do that one. And then we could just say Big Plants will be my third brand. Now, in terms of the value, this is the tomato plant growth. So this is how big the plant actually grew. And so let's just say the first one did 10 centimeters. The next one did 15 centimeters. Oh, and let's just enter the number. I'm sorry, guys. We already specified our units, so only numbers would appear here. So I would have 10, 15, and let's say this one was 7.5 centimeters. Now, on the min value, I ask you always put a 0 there. Okay, all of our graphs should start from 0. So please don't enter the smallest value. Always put 0. For the max value, you want to go a little bit above your largest value. So since my largest value was 15, I'm just going to bump it up to 20. Okay. Now on the source, you don't need to include the source because I know you're obtaining that data from the EduWeb Labs. So we're okay there. Now let's go to my labels. And what again I'm going to ask you to do is just use the default values. So you shouldn't have to change anything here. And now I'm ready to preview my graph. So I'll just click preview and here we go. The effect of fertilizer brand on tomato plant growth. So here I have my brand of fertilizer. Here I have the tomato plant growth that was observed, and very nicely done. It's a very nice graph. Now, if you had included some other categories, you would have had a key over to this side. So don't worry about that. That would have been labeled if I'd had, for example, some other variable that I was measuring. I could have included that in as well. But we only have one dependent variable of interest. So your graph's done. Now what we could do is go to print save. And what I would ask you to do, we're including this in a Word document. So what I would suggest you do is download it. So we'll click download and click on it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the program and it's not showing it. So let me move this over and then I'm going to drag this down so you can see what you're going to come up with. So in terms of the download, I just suggest you save it as a JPEG, an image file, because we're going to insert this into our Word document and then ultimately save it as a PDF. So I'll just click on that, click download, and this file, you can just save the file to your desktop. And then when you're ready to insert it into the Word document, you'll just do a search within Word and upload that particular file. And I'll show you that in just a few minutes.